Good morning, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Monday morning, September 28th. And so it begins. This week, we have tomorrow night, the first presidential debate, which I think will really be the only one we're going to need to see to have a very good determination what is going on. Wednesday, we have the end of the third quarter. Friday, we have the job number. A week from Saturday, we have the election. Starting next week, we have the earnings. Right before I came on, I saw a tweet on Twitter, and the person who did it is very prominent in one of the voice channel rooms. And you can almost sense the palpable fear in their voice as they tweeted, what's going on? What's the news? Why are we up? Well, you need to look no further than my Friday video where I quote the headline, large 5-day balance. Here's your 5 days. Whomever gains acceptance out of it will get a nice move. We don't only have a gap today on the daily, we have a weekly gap. Bet you a lot of people don't even realize that. We have 2 gaps this morning. We are about to embark on possibly the most chaotic quarter in financial history possibly coming up. That might seem dramatic. It might not come to fruition, but there's a very good chance of it. If you want somebody who made markets for 25 years in some of the biggest stocks in the world on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and for the past 10 years has successfully traded the S&P 500 from behind the screen at a price that nobody will ever beat, because I am trying to enlighten, education, and inform traders, well, then there's really no need to look further and join this group of incredible traders as we go forward. If not, well, then seriously, and I mean this in all the best intentions, good luck. So here we are, 5-day balance, coming out of it on a double gap, daily and a weekly. We're trading right at the top of the double distribution from the 18th. Remember, on Wednesday, we attempted to get to it, couldn't do it. They tried to push down both Thursday and Friday, only to have shorts get ripped apart late in the day. And we're continuing this morning. Now, pre-market volume, 550,000 with 70 minutes to go. Not bad, but nothing great. Our average volume is 85.5 million now. So let's go over destinations and a game plan for this morning. So on the upside, right now, I'm not using Friday's high. I'll use that as a downside. But I am going to use the weekly high, because you never know in the next hour what can happen. 331.20. And remember, we had the last set of single prints. 331.58 get filled at 71. That's F's low and the bottom of the upper distribution. And then above that, we have that daily high of 335.49. Then we have 337.70 daily high, and then fill in the gap at 338.52, an 82-point gap from the 17th of September. Remember, that gap that day when we started was over about, I believe, close to 600 points. And they closed a lot of it down to 82. Couldn't fill it. And we went from 338 all the way down to 319. $19 move to the downside. And now they're attempting to take it back. For the downside, we'll use Friday's high of 329.58. Then we have the first set of single prints. They start at 328, get filled at 328.15, get filled at 14. It's only 2 cents. My overnight low of 328.03 right below that. And then we have all those other single prints, right, that you should have that I gave on Friday. Right now, my pre-market high is 333.59. So we talk about voids and destinations and reference points and how these short-term algos have to reach them. And that's basically what we're doing, right? It's a 5-day balance. If we come above it, obviously you'd like to hold the weekly gap, certainly the daily gap, right? If you don't hold the weekly gap but hold this but close inside of it, all you did was stretch the balance, right? The quote on Friday was, whomever gains acceptance. Just because you open it above it does not mean gain acceptance. Acceptance to me means you do have to close above the weekly high, unless nothing's changed. Just like when we pushed down last week below the balance and then came back into it. Now, the gap itself is fairly large. It's $2 higher than the weekly high already. And it's $4 higher than the daily high. So gap rules do not just recklessly apply. Say, oh, you buy it and that's it. Absolutely not. Right? The overnight's long. Do I want to short it up here? Absolutely not. I also don't want to buy it. I want to see some kind of inventory adjustment. I'd love to see it come in within $1 of last week's high. Then I have no problem taking a call play. Okay? And I'd probably buy a 331 call since the gap gets filled at 331.20 on the weekly. If that weekly gap gets filled, I'd probably exit the trade and then see if we come in a little more and take another call play. This one would be probably a 329 call against Friday's high, right? So if I get an inventory adjustment, I'm looking to buy above the weekly high. If that fails, I'm out. If we come back in, again, I take a call play against the daily. If that holds, great. I hold on to it. If it doesn't and that fills, I get out, I reassess again. Remember, we had all the single prints and everything. But you need to have an out for every trade you take. If you take a call play, if it comes in and it doesn't fill, well, guess what? Your next destination will be your pre-market high and then the high from that area, 335.49. Right now, there is no put play. Again, you'll be seeing this live streamed all day with play-by-play calls. And just quickly before we go to the charts, we're coming out of a 5-day balance to the upside. Remember, that gap is still above us. Now, the triple Q is a lot different. Look at this. This is a 7-day balance that they're gapping higher, right? They also have a daily and a weekly gap. And even more impressive, they're filling their gap from the 17th. Okay, let's go to the charts. Now, 3 days to go in a month, right? The bottom line for me is that the main focus is to close above 327.73. If we do that, it's just firmly a 2-month huge balance with September's high and low as being the top of the balance, right? It's a pretty big balance, right? Right now, the monthly range is $39. That's a huge, pretty nice balance. Will we trade inside of it all of October? That's a possibility. Doesn't mean we won't have tremendous volatility inside of it, but there's a chance you can. But we need to close above 327.73 on Wednesday night. Weekly, right now, we're stopping the one-time framing down. We'll be firmly in balance. Again, it's basically a huge 4-week balance, right? Whatever this week does, last week and these two. It's the same as the monthly. That's your huge, well, it's not as high because it's not encompassing the all-time high. So the high of this balance would be 343.06. The low of it will round out to 320. So you have a $23 balance in the weekly. Huge moves can happen inside of those. And then the same on the daily, remember? Coming out of the 5-day. Now, the 50-day moving average on the daily is 335.14. So before we get to that daily high of 335.49, that has to be overcome, right? So we'll see if and when we get there what the market does and how it reacts. But the bottom line is, for this market to continue higher, we need to finish and close above the 5-day balance high, which is last week's high. Good luck trading today. Have a great day, and we'll recap at 4 p.m.